spawning in the upper right in the blue for Litecoin. He is the French Protoss player, ShaDoWn.
And in the bottom left, it's our red Terran player hoping to make his net worth rise just like his team's Litecoin. This is MilkiCow.
Well, the question is, if it's truly going to be like his team, is he going to go? And is his net worth going to rise and fall and rise and fall and rise and fall and rise and fall and go really high and then go really low? I mean, hopefully, because that means it's going to be an insane game on both sides. But also, I guess there's the problem, right? If they're both on Litecoin and they're both rising and falling in sync because it's the same crypto, then how does that one work, right? They just trade 100% equally all the time and then the game never ends?
Well, here you go. You like puns. I think I've got a decent one for you.
Oh no.
So I mean, there's only one place for the cryptocurrency market to go, and that's to the moon. MilkiCow's already jumping over the moon. Can ShaDoWn cast his shadow to ruin MilkiCow's trajectory? We'll have to see.
Will MilkiCow be in the penumbra of ShaDoWn? That's the true question here. For the moment, well, we see MilkiCow not opening with an expand build just yet. And he is actually going Marine first here, which opens himself up into the possibility of going a little bit higher tech early on, getting that earlier factory. But I'm sorry, that's not what's happening. There's the second barracks underway. Will we see is this going to be your 3 barracks stim combat shield timing, or are we going to see the 2 barracks quick third CC build? Both of these are options. Both of these are things that Beyond loves. And really, we're just going to have to see what MilkiCow is opting to do as he... Wait, oh. Never mind.
This is spicy. This is kind of spicy. I like this. What? Excuse me. MilkiCow, you can't just keep canceling all of these tech labs or reactors and then stopping things. Has anybody told him that that's like bad? It costs you money. Yeah, okay, he's going to go into the Marauder build again, but only like 5 seconds worse. That's weird. Nope. He's stopped it again. Okay, let's keep an eye on it right here, front and center. What's this gonna end up? It's Reapers behind it.
I know. Yeah, but actually, so here's the. I was gonna say, I think this is just to make sure that if ShaDoWn goes for a scout, he's gonna think that this is a concussive shell timing because he's gonna see the Marauder. He's gonna see the. This is exactly what this is. He's gonna see the Marauder. He's going to see the researching concussive shell, and now we're gonna see MilkiCow cancel it because the scout has happened. MilkiCow, please make me right. MilkiCow.
Oh, no.
Okay, fine. He's just doing this to mess with the commentators, man. That's all that's happening here. I'm confused.
Oh, MilkiCow is like, I feel bad for ShaDoWn. I'm gonna win in this game number 1, so I'm gonna make this build just a little bit worse, just to make everybody feel a little bit better. But it is going to be a concussive shell timing regardless. And the timing is going to be really weird here. I mean, there's going to be the pylon with the shield batteries. Shield battery should be fine. This is where I think the interesting damage is going to come into play here. These Reapers are going to have to be microed, though. He's got to be very, very careful with that. 3 do end up going down, and the rest of the bio just goes away. MilkiCow just goes back home. He's gonna regroup here. What an interesting choice, but I think this is going to end up being the right call here. ShaDoWn is all the way across the map with a nice little proxy pylon. He's going to have sentries. He's going to have a couple of stalkers in as well. Is this bunker going to be done in time? Oh, absolutely it will.
I love this build because I'm just so confused. I don't know what's happening here. I'm like, this is kind of like a Gumiho build, except Gumiho actually doesn't get concussive shells, and he gets his tech just a little bit faster, and it makes a little bit more sense. ShaDoWn, of course, he's kind of realized what's happening here as well. So this is 3 gates. There's a robo behind this, and he's just going to look to contain MilkiCow. In a situation, he's got to try to break MilkiCow here, I guess, because MilkiCow is not all too upset about being contained on 2 bases when he did the economic damage to the Protoss player that he was able to get done. And I mean, Stim is halfway done here. If ShaDoWn hangs around for too long, it's going to be Stim to Marauders suddenly popping on out with concussive shells. This entire army will get taken on down, assuming that does happen. But for the moment, ShaDoWn is content to posture here. He's content to rebuild his economy, content to make sure he mines what he needs to mine, but no 3rd base yet. And these depths are going to keep shading on in. They will be unsuccessful. Actually, where do we go from here?
Well, I think it's got to be ShaDoWn getting out to his third base location, as we do see that Nexus on the way as well. But you're absolutely right. The way it sits right now, ShaDoWn doesn't have enough to really pressure this. He also wasn't getting the soft damage of having the SCVs pulled to defend the bunker. He did for a brief moment in time, but MilkiCow has enough to deal with this. So now it's going to be MilkiCow coming out across the map. There is a good potential for a lift up with the medevac into the ramp location, but I think ShaDoWn's going to be able to spot, maybe. No, he doesn't quite spot this just yet. So instead, Milky's going to posture onto what could be a third base location. Haha, just kidding. It's going to actually be on the top side of the map. So the tank's going to have to rotate around. And now it is going to get spotted. So this isn't as good as it could be. This is just kind of a weird little posturing back and forth here. I think unless MilkiCow overcommits here, he should just be able to walk away, but Force Field's going to force the issue here. That is going to be a divided army that does get picked out. I mean, this tank has to leave now at this point. So we're just going to maneuver forward. Not really any major damage one way or the other.
So with how weird this game has started, right? Concussive shell timing that had the concussive shell canceled like 4 times into 3-gate follow-up contained pressure. We're now at this position where effectively MilkiCow is going to go into +1 stim combat shield timing, and ShaDoWn is going to have 3-base Colossus charge. Like your standard opening, it's going to be like a minute later, but your standard opener is just totally fine here. And okay, fine. It's a pretty cool. It's a really cool hallmark of these builds that ShaDoWn and MilkiCow have chosen that allow them to get into really almost a standard position at roughly similar timing, despite how weird everything did start on up. Now, it's kind of cool, right? Because we look at MilkiCow's build, and yes, it's weird. It absolutely was weird. It seems like he is taking some notes from Gumiho. And Gumiho, the thing about how he does it, because he does open double Marauder, he does not get concussive shells. The thing about how he opens is he gets into that +1 stim timing perfectly, right? He gets into the exact same position that his opponent, that his Terran normally would at that timing. But he gets a little bit more defensive, a little more offensive options early. So it's kind of cool to see MilkiCow lean into that idea, iterate upon it once more time, actually get concussive shells, even if he does decide to waste 12 minerals and 6 gas on the 7 cancels or whatever it was. But still, third base now is just about done. There are a lot of tanks here. It means ShaDoWn's not really going to be able to break MilkiCow all that well, even if he wants to. +1 is done. We are in a stock standard PvT. It's almost exactly 1 minute late. That's about all. That's the only difference here. That is insane.
We're just watching the new meta. I mean, we're on the forefront of what we're going to see all of the great Protoss and Terran players do in the next coming months. So we were here first. We can claim that we were on the forefront of history, but I don't think that this is going to amount in a whole lot here. Yeah, I think MilkiCow's got to back off. ShaDoWn's got a really strong army here. He's going to be able to push forward. +1 is just about done as well. Okay, he's going to lift up with the tanks. So the tanks are going to get out. This is a lot more damage than MilkiCow can afford right now. The army values are very, very close. He will have defender's advantage, but not being able to get those tanks down is really, really crucial here. They're still up in the medevacs. We got to watch that. Without those tanks, this is not a hold, so the tanks will finally go down. They do get positioned. That's going to be a good save, at least for the time being. So ShaDoWn on the backside of this will continue ramping up his pressure. Nice little run by of Zealots, though. This is kind of helpful here. ShaDoWn's going to find a little bit of damage, weave his way into the main, and gets a bit of a scout off. He's going to see more of those barracks, but importantly, he is going to see the Ghost Academy.
How do you see ghost academies? I mean, ghosts are they're paranormal apparitions. You can't see ghosts anyway. It's actually kind of funny. Notice that MilkiCow, granted, concussive shell's not that much off timing compared to what it normally would be gotten compared to, say, a TVZ or something. But notice we are seeing the big benefit of a concussive shell, even in a macro game, right? The Zealots are looking to run on into the main base, and hey, Marauders tag them all. They don't get nearly as much damage as they would otherwise like. And oh, look at this. Actually, unfortunately, the hallucinated Phoenix will not trigger any sorts of Widow Mines. And MilkiCow, he's got his 4th base underway. He's sitting here even with the Protoss player's supply here. That's actually going to be rather good for the Protoss player, but not before this quad drop finds its way on into the 3rd base. Is he just going to target this down? No, he's not. Okay, I thought he that might almost have been worth it. But the shield battery overcharge is going to be able to heal that one on up. 11 workers do go down, because it looks like we got Widowmine drops on into the main, the natural, and the 3rd base as well. It's all a bit of distraction here, and 15 workers will be the total price. MilkiCow got everything queued up perfectly. And suddenly, the Protoss player, who was so far ahead in income, is going to drop. Oh, look at that income drop. He's going to fall right back on down.
Oh, this is going to be another one. So additional damage is going to go down. He hasn't found a way to deal with these Widow Mines just yet. This cannon's not going to finish up in the main, so more damage is going to get picked away at. MilkiCow's going to rotate around and try and create pressure, because as long as he can keep buying time for these mines, I mean, the mines are just going to reset. I think the one up in the main will finally be dealt with. The cannon's going to finish up here just a moment. I can't believe that this pylon is only now going down. This has been a known issue for a while in this game. Oh, okay, this is a really rough position here. A lot of the army is going to be caught out. Ghosts are going to be an important part of this. A good EMP on this army could be really pivotal, and it is going to go down. It does snap on top of 2 of those Colossus. 20 of those workers have to get sacrificed for the cause, though, because there is a drop in that main. We're only now able to get to see that. Will this army be able to hold this down, though? I don't think so. The Colossus are going to get killed off. That will be a nice bit of damage, but the Zealots into the main are now in the natural, getting more workers killed. 31 in total. That's going to allow this army to rotate back. This is way too much for MilkiCow to try and deal with. ShaDoWn has done so much damage. He gets a little bit here and there, but ultimately the bulk of the army is going to get out of here for ShaDoWn, and with it, 31 workers goes down, plus the 4th base. This is the engagement that ShaDoWn's been waiting for.
It absolutely is. Now, I guess the one thing MilkiCow's got going for him here, he does have a bit of an upgrade lead and nominal supply lead, as I say that. Of course, ShaDoWn does overcome, but I think MilkiCow is under the proper understanding here that he does have to go. He does have to get aggressive at this point. He cannot just sit here and allow ShaDoWn to expand and cause damage and expand and cause value. But every time he does that, every time he looks to move out on the map, well, it's a bunch of Archons, it's a bunch of charge lots, it's a bunch of all that fun stuff that the Protoss player loves to do, because this is an army that MilkiCow can beat if he's over 150 supply. Like, if he has the economy, if he has the production to make sure that he is okay. But considering the fact that he is massively down in economy here, as we did see that spike massive, insanely high for ShaDoWn in this game, well, what are you gonna do, right? It's so hard to deal with his massive amounts of charge lots, as tanky as they are, as much damage as they do, when you cannot reinforce properly. When your economy is 30 workers behind your opponent, well, in general, that's hard to do, but I like what ShaDoWn's done here. He's just gone into the tankiest army possible, this army that forces MilkiCow to trade and just to take unequal trades. It's not high tech, something like that, where maybe a Viking shot is going to be able to knock something down. So now MilkiCow, he's going to try to get aggressive here, but it's a bit of a flank going on, and Liberators will keep this alive for the time being. MilkiCow, I think he's going to commit wholesale to this, because this 3rd base is not going to be mining much anymore.
The 3rd base is going to have to be evacuated, and I think MilkiCow just has to accept it as a loss, because he really needs to find a way to deal with this army and focus on this push. The 4th base is going to be stopped once again as well, but again, MilkiCow focused on making this army get just a lot smaller and a lot of the price paid on to these units. He's going to be able to zone out the 4th base, but again, there's just 2 other bases that are also going to get the same amount of value. This base is okay to lose at this point, because ShaDoWn just has so many more workers, and this is going to be a pretty decent surround here. These Zealots are going to come in on the right-hand side. The Liberator's not quite in position to deal the damage that they need to. I think he will be able to equalize this, though, but ShaDoWn should have the economy back behind it. He's going to have a DT Shrine finishing up here in just a moment. Warpins are going to be able to help equalize this. The upgrades are in a good position. All ShaDoWn needs to do is find a way to stop this army, but MilkiCow has a lot. Can he do it?
I don't think that matters here. I think MilkiCow has found his fight. He got the Liberators where he needed to be. The tanks did not die nearly quick enough. He's now nursing a 40 army supply leads to the Stalkers. They blink on and try to knock these Liberators down. They're unsuccessful. The Colossus is going down, and yes, it looks like MilkiCow for the moment here, he's going to be forced back, but that is just long enough for his rally to come on in. And ShaDoWn, where is your army now? Where is your hope now here? 63 army supply to 12. ShaDoWn, he was in such a good spot. He did all the damage he needed to do, but MilkiCow, he found the one fight he was looking for. He knocked the tech on down. And now, what can ShaDoWn do in this game? 9 more workers have died. The drop is going to find its way on into the 3rd base. And I think it's only a question of rallies here. That and actually DTs may be able to do something, because there's not a lot of scans on this map anymore.
Nah, he's only rocking where he's
Two.
got 2 orbital commands, and I don't think he can afford to overscan here. So we might see a Raven come out at some point, but all of these starports have reactors on them, so there's no possibility for Ravens at this moment. Really, the only thing that'll work out will be those EMPs to reveal those DTs. But if DTs start getting spread into different bases here for MilkiCow, this could be a very, very rough situation to try and recover from. But I think ShaDoWn, with this base here at the 3 o'clock position on the map, is going to be able to recover, but by like the slimmest of margins here, Beomolf. This was very, very scary here for ShaDoWn.
Yeah, I was looking at that fight. I'm like, man, it is plus 60 army supply. And yeah, part of that's in the rally and part of that's in medevac, sure. But how in the world, even with an economy, how did ShaDoWn come back from that? Well, cannons knocked down a couple of medevacs, and DTs were able to do even more economic damage. MilkiCow now only on 46 workers. But ShaDoWn, I don't know how I feel about this bit of aggression here, right? So this is ShaDoWn's almost his entire army. He's gonna look to dive on in, and there we go. The missile turret will stay alive here. The bunker will go on down, but not before the zealots. Actually, no, not even the bunker will stay alive as well. So the zealot will be able to find his way in by. Get a couple more workers here. But suddenly this game feels a lot closer than it otherwise might. ShaDoWn's got a minor. It's actually turning into a major economic lead once again. Yeah, he's mining 1,500 more resources a minute. Never mind, because again, as you mentioned, we have 3 commands, 3 orbitals. That's fine. You can either drop mules and keep yourself safe from DTs, or you can drop scans and keep yourself safe from DTs, or you can drop mules and, you know, have an economy. So we're seeing that that dichotomy there causing a big problem for MilkiCow. Is going to move on in, of course. EMPs solve this problem just a little bit more. So we got to run by here behind this, I don't know what you want to call it, this 5th base of ShaDoWn. We will see, oh, the disruptor will not get taken on down here. That will force MilkiCow on back. Starks playing on forward, doing what they can. 5 workers dying on the other side. We will have some warp-ins as well. That's not really going to get all that much here, but these Marauders are tremendously overstimmed. And the other thing we need to look at, ShaDoWn's on 3-2. MilkiCow is on 2-1. Over the entirety of this chaos, ShaDoWn has been able to build himself a 2 upgrade lead, and that is really coming to bear here, as it's just a ground pound army once again. This is what we saw ShaDoWn go for 10 minutes ago, 8 minutes ago, and this time it looks like that's going to be more than enough. ShaDoWn, he bends, but he does not break, and he's going to take game 1.
I mean, he bent into like a U shape there for a moment, and you could see the seams like they're starting to split, and it's just about to pop, but he relaxes, he gets what he needs, he absorbs the blow as much as he possibly could, and he was able to push back. So very, very good economic lead for ShaDoWn, leads to his 1-0 advantage in this series, but give it to MilkiCow. What great positioning to keep himself in it. He got really, really close, and a couple of adjustments here and there could see MilkiCow really reclaim game number 2. He's going to be on Oxide. I don't know. I think TVP for Oxide, there is a nice positioning for Protoss here. But if MilkiCow can continue to advance and just refine his timings just a little bit more, we could see ourselves going to a game number 3.
I'm all for game number 3. Give me the greatest series of the day for the last series of the day. Make my voice go hoarse, because we're not covering more ESL until Tuesday. We got time to recover. Fine.
Amen.
Although I guess I got EPT Cup tomorrow night, so, you know. Rushy, you have permission to shout yourself hoarse. I'll only do it half. I'll only do like the front half of the horse, like, you know, shout the head, shout the legs, the shoulders, the legs, and you can do the back. You can shout the back half. It's fine.
Head, shoulders, knees, and toes. You know, it's every part of it here. So, game number 2 incoming in just a moment. This could possibly be our last game of the day, but I mean, what a wild set of games here. Some of the series have been rather quick, but I don't think there's been a single game today that has disappointed.
Maybe that first series, but other than that, yeah, these games have been dynamite. They've been incredible, and I am here for it. Oh, of course I'm here for it. I'm on the broadcast, but you know what I mean? It's fine, because now Rushy, Oxide is their second map. Perhaps it's the last map of the day. We're going to find out here. Let's get into it. And spawning in the bottom left, in the blue, he is up 1 game in this series, in this team kill for Litecoin, ShaDoWn.
making adjustments to try and bring himself to a back-to-back win in this best-of-3 series. Our red Terran player from Litecoin. This is MilkiCow.
And you know what, Rushy, I don't care who wins. I really don't. I'm so disappointed. Give me another long game. Give me another epic game. And we might get there anyways, but it's going to be a proxy 2 racks here for our game number 2. And I guess it makes sense, right? You play a long game, you play a game, and you're like, maybe I'm not favored in the late game. Well, what do you do when you don't feel like you can get you're not favored in a 15-minute plus game? Well, you try to end the game before 5. MilkiCow, he's put a couple racks on the map. And ShaDoWn is aware of this, by the way. He doesn't know how many barracks there are, but it is only a single gas. So that should tell him something. There we go. We will see. Oh, there was actually a shield battery, but no, it's just a second pylon, making sure that the gateways and the cyber core do not get depowered.
Yeah, and here's a thought for you to consider in Behemoth. Why play long game when short game do trick? There's just no reason to play to the 10-15 minute mark when you could just win at the 5-minute mark. And I think that's what MilkiCow wants to try and do here, especially against a player that he knows. We talked about the team dynamic. It's possible that these two play against each other, and he might know that this is potentially a weakness, but ShaDoWn already off to a great start here. He's got the bunker zoned for right now. One zealot to rule them all, and it should be I kind of like this. I mean, he's going to go try and attack maybe across the map. He knows that this is not necessarily where he needs that zealot to be, but for now, Marines should be able to zone out that natural. There is going to be a shield battery up on the high ground, and I think, I'm kind of like drawing the lines here. I think that will be close enough where the Stalker can start putting damage down onto the bunker and still be covered.
Yeah,
maybe not.
The amount of times, I mean, this is just kind of like the same to and fro you see with a bunker behind the mineral line, right? Where, yeah, mining's delayed for a time, but whatever, except this time, well, you got to do that a little bit more, and it does require a double gate commitment. I am really not sure how this works for the Terran player. I cannot remember the last time I saw a 2 racks happen against a Protoss player. I mean, what, MVP? Game 7, right? Maybe that's it? I don't know. But certainly a long time ago. And let's see, where are we right now? MilkiCow, what tech does he have? He's got his factory done. He's got these 2 barracks. They run on home. These Marines will die. Then they will not take a Stalker with them, unfortunately. So now what is it? It is 3 Stalkers running across the map. There is almost zero army production for MilkiCow at this point. The barracks, one of them is going to look to run on home. One of them will just be, of course, that wonderful free scout. And eventually there will be a Cyclone. Cyclones, of course, trade exceedingly well against unblinked Stalkers. So with a bunker here, well, actually, the Stalkers will be able to knock that down. 4 Stalkers kill off an SCV, but still you get 2 valleys there. The bunker will not complete. These Marines are not going to do all that much. And you know what? ShaDoWn, I don't think he's going to snowball the game off of this, but he might find himself a wonderful lead in this game number 2.
Yeah, it kind of depends on how much damage this Cyclone can get here. He's going to have to do it without bunker presence, but now finally the SCVs are going to be able to come forward and reinforce the wall. This barracks is going to get a decent scout off, so it will find some value in that regard. ShaDoWn still has to be careful, though. Now with the Viking being brought in, that's going to trade rather well against those Stalkers. He does get 3 workers for his trouble, so it's definitely not lost out here.
He's denying 2 mineral patches. I'll take it.
Yeah, again, you're finding value however you can. This sentry's going to use its tickle beam to tickle this barracks to death. We'll check on it in about 15 minutes, and it'll probably be about half health dead. Oh, the other units. Oh, well, that's just not even fair. Let the sentry do some work. Come on.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think at this point, if we just have the sentry tickling it, yeah, the barracks will be dead by next game, assuming we do have a next game. And I don't think it can be... Where are we at? So MilkiCow, he's on 1 base. He's got his 2nd base just about done, but he's not there yet. ShaDoWn's got his 3rd base underway. And it's MilkiCow's going to look to move out here with some army, but what? He's got 2 Marines, a tank, a Cyclone. I mean, this is not an encouraging army here. Maybe if he gets a 2nd and a 3rd tank and finds a really nice sieged up position, that's going to be difficult for ShaDoWn to break. But ShaDoWn, he's got soon going to have more armies. He adds that production with Blink as well. He's going to have a massive eco lead. He's doubling the workers at this point, just about. He's got an extra base. How does MilkiCow find his way back into this game?
you're not gonna like my answer. I don't think he does. I think he's just far enough behind that it's gonna be very difficult for him to really bring this back, because the reality is he's gonna have to lay back. He can't be the aggressor anymore. He just doesn't have enough. There's not enough production. There's not enough economy back behind this. He's only now getting his second orbital command, and ShaDoWn's gonna love every second of that. He's gonna get his third base saturated. He's gonna get whatever tech he wants. He's gonna build more production. He's just gonna catapult himself forward. And at some point, I mean, ShaDoWn's gonna feel comfortable enough to really move out. But while you're rocking an 18 worker lead, he's gonna follow the day 9 principle. When ahead, you just get more ahead.
And the other thing I love here is ShaDoWn, he's not going for fancy tech. He's not adding on disruptors or Colossus or anything else. No. Charge is on the way, a bunch of extra gateways on the way. He's gonna sit on 3 gas, and he's just gonna build a massive charge-led army and says, look, I know you gotta come out on the map at some point. You're not gonna be able to just sit here and turtle when you're down 16 workers. It was worse, of course. You're not gonna be able to do that. Like, that is not a way you're gonna win the game. You know that, I know that. So I'm just gonna build this massive army. It doesn't have to be super high tech, and then you're gonna run on out there, and unless you're like manage to turtle to 200 supply of high upgrades, I'm gonna swipe the floor with you, because massive amounts of +1 zealots, whether it is armor, whether it is attack, will absolutely annihilate pretty much any Terran army that is not sitting above 150 supply, 160 supply. So we're gonna have to see whether ShaDoWn is actually able to make that happen, or whether MilkiCow does get his turtle idea to really come to fruition. Whether he is able to commune with, what was it, the giant turtle duck? What was the great, like, original Bender turtle thing in Avatar?
Oh gosh, I don't know if I can pull that off the top of my head.
It doesn't matter. Point being, he's gonna have to be a turtle as big as that.
All right, so MilkiCow is going to be able to posture here, but again, ShaDoWn is just zoning. Oh, that was maybe the top worst blink of all time, maybe ever. Who knows? He doesn't pay too hard on it, but he's going to have a pretty sizable army. More than anything, this army is going to trade really well against the composition that MilkiCow has. Good thing for MilkiCow is he is going to get some positioning to work out here. Those tanks are a little bit close together, but I think for the most part, he should be okay. I like this warp in here on the right-hand side, though. I think MilkiCow is going to try to defend on multiple fronts here. ShaDoWn's going to be able to go forward and scout. He's trying to pull and stretch MilkiCow as far apart as possible, because if he can find a way to position himself onto those tanks, if the tanks go down, this whole push is gone. There's no way to combat this. So ShaDoWn is trying his hardest, though. He wants to get a nice little wrap around. I think he might even have enough here. The tanks are split up far enough. Let's see if that's going to work here. Zealots coming in from all angles. The tanks on the right are completely dealt with. It's going to be the units on the left. Oh, that bio just gets pinched by those beautiful force fields. The base is going to have to lift. ShaDoWn is done.